watching Republic. From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello and welcome. You're watching 6 Stories at 6. I am Tanisha Avasthi on this Monday edition. Here are the 6 stories that have made it to the headlines and have set the agenda. The Congress says it plans to alter the constitution to give 4% reservation to Muslims. The comment by DK Shivakumar is facing a huge, massive outrage. Meanwhile, Justice Yashwant Verma case is only getting bigger, with the Supreme Court for the second time now sending Justice Verma back to his parent court. What is next in the case? The fight over legacy of Rana Sangha is only getting bigger. We get you the details of the huge showdown between Akhilesh Yadav and BJP MP Anurag Thakur in the state of West Bengal. We'll tell you why the justice for Abhaya, the RJ Kar rape and murder case, is back again in focus. Meanwhile, in the state of Karnataka, the state is reeling under oxygen crisis, and Siddaramaiah government seems to be doing nothing about that as well. And finally, the unending fight for justice for Disha Salyan. Her parents are now seeking the crucial evidence missing in the case, and we'll get you the details on that as well. So these are the 6 stories that we have for you in the broadcast, but we start first up with the top story. Uproarious scenes unfolded in Rajya Sabha earlier today after the BJP members erupted in protest over a statement attributed to Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivakumar. Now, the senior Congress leader allegedly said that his party would even consider changing the constitution to implement the 4% minority quota in public contracts in Karnataka. Leading to this was the BJP's charge in the upper house. Union Minister JP Nadda demanded an explanation from the Congress, drawing a fierce response from the leader of opposition Mallikarjun Kharge. Here's what happened in the parliament today.
Fierce protests rocked the Rajya Sabha today after Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivakumar allegedly said the Congress would even consider changing the constitution to implement 4% minority quota in government contracts. Absolute chaos unfolded on the floor of the upper house after the treasury, led by the BJP, was up in arms over the vexed reservation issue in Congress-ruled Karnataka.
मैं यही कहूंगा, कौन सा वो आदमी जिनको कहा देश का संविधान बदलने वाले हैं.
Leading the BJP's charge on the floor of the upper house, Union Minister JP Nadda demanded that the Congress clear its stand on reservation.
कांग्रेस पार्टी बहुत संविधान की रक्षक बनती है.
Accusing the Congress of snatching reservation benefits from the backward classes in Karnataka, Nadda said the constitution clearly forbids the grant of quota on religious lines.
कांग्रेस का इतिहास रहा है, चाहे वो कर्नाटक की विधानसभा रही, कर्नाटक के विधानसभा में ठेकेदारों को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट देने के लिए 4% का रिजर्वेशन का प्रस्ताव पारित किया है. 4% का. ये अंबेडकर के रखवाले बनते हैं. उपसभापति जी, ये अंबेडकर के रखवाले बनते हैं. सरदार पटेल ने और अंबेडकर ने कहा कि रिजर्वेशन ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ religion will not take place.
Nadda's charge drew a furious response from the Congress National President and the opposition leader in the upper house, Mallikarjun Kharge.
ऐसी कोई बात कर्नाटक के मिनिस्टर ने नहीं कहा. संविधान बदलने की बात कोई नहीं कहा, कोई नहीं भी कहेगा हमारे तरफ से। अगर कुछ होगा संविधान बदलने की बात जो बार बार आती है, उधर से आती है, इधर से नहीं।
Meanwhile, the leader at the center of the Kota storm denied seeking any change to the constitution. Shiv Kumar said he was a responsible senior politician and was aware that the constitution mandates granting quotas only on the basis of backwardness.
I've been in the assembly last 36 years. I have a basic common sense. I have not said that there will be any. I have said casually there will be so many changes after various judgments. Whatever reservation has been given as per the quota of the backward class has been given. I have not said that we are going to change the constitution or not that.
However, Shiv Kumar's attempt at damage control failed as the BJP legislators staged a demonstration outside Karnataka Assembly over his remark. Weighing in on the 4% quota row, AIMIM leader Asaduddin Owaisi dared the BJP to stop Muslim quota in NDA-ruled Bihar.
बीजेपी से पूछिए, बिहार में मुसलमानों को वहाँ पर रिजर्वेशन नहीं मिल रहा है बैकवर्ड क्लास की बुनियाद पर। वहाँ ख़त्म करके दिखाइए। बिहार में नहीं मिल रहा है क्या बैकवर्ड क्लास कैटेगरी में?
The Congress, which went into last year's Lok Sabha polls claiming that the BJP would alter the constitution if elected for a third term, now faces the tough task defending Shiv Kumar.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Supreme Court Collegium issued a resolution to repatriate Delhi High Court Judge Yashwant Verma to Allahabad High Court. Now, this is days after the discovery of unaccounted cash at his official residence. The money was discovered after a fire broke out at Justice Verma's official residence on Tughlaq Road at around 11:35 p.m. on March 14th. First responders, including personals from DFS and possibly the police, are believed to have discovered stacks of cash in the storeroom, some of which have reportedly been charred, as you see on your screens. Now, the Supreme Court Collegium has decided to repatriate Delhi High Court Justice Yashwant Verma back to his parent court, that is the Allahabad High Court. Interestingly, the decision was taken by Collegium after holding two meetings, one on March 20 and the other on March 24. Meanwhile, it is the Allahabad High Court Bar Association which has also passed a resolution to impeach Justice Yashwant Verma. Joining me on the broadcast is S.S. Narula. He is the president of Punjab High Court Bar Association. S.S. Narula, the High Court Bar Associations, the bar associations all over India are rising. They are speaking against the biggest judicial scandal. The Allahabad High Court has taken a resolution. They passed, in fact, a resolution to impeach Justice Yashwant Verma, calling it not safe for the democracy if he still stays in his firm. What are your take on the same? How is the Punjab High Court Bar Association responding and looking at it?
Well, let me explain. In fact, it's not only the Punjab Haryana High Court. In fact, we have formed a common platform of all associations, all bar associations of all high courts in India. And yesterday we had a Zoom meet with around 20 presidents talking about this. And we are all one on this. The entire country is together in what Allahabad High Court says. Only that, yes, the proper procedure has to be followed, which they have already started following. The Honorable Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of India, has already formed a committee. And that committee would finally find out the truth and then take action accordingly. Because as you see, the Constitution makes enough provision. And under Section 217, Article 217 of the Constitution of India, he can be impeached definitely. But for that, an inquiry has to be conducted first under the Judges Inquiry Act, which is in place today.
Right, absolutely. S.S. Narula, what I also want to know from you is that, do you believe that it is a time now for the judicial reform? Because what we see right now is not just any scandal. It is about the rot that is there in the Indian judiciary that we see, that was seen on our screens as soon as the cash was recovered.
I would not paint everybody black in the same brush. So yes, this particular act does pull us down and does create suspicion against the entire institution. It's not just one judge. We all together in that. So I would what I think is that yes, this needs to be probed, and if there is something wrong in it, we must look into it. And in fact, what we are contemplating at the all India level is to have transparency all over the place. And yes, judicial responsibility must be looked into, and nobody should be allowed to go above the law, even if they are looking after the law.
Just SS Narula, thank you very much for speaking to Republic. Appreciate your views on that. We move on to the other stories that we're tracking. Now, a major controversy has erupted after Samajwadi Party Member of Parliament Ramji Lal Suman called 16th century Rajput king Rana Sanga a traitor. Samajwadi Party President Akhilesh Yadav has defended the MP over his remarks, saying that if the BJP can revisit the history over Aurangzeb, then the Samajwadi Party MP also just referred to a figure from history. The political storm over the matter has heated up, and the BJP has hit back at the Samajwadi Party over the remarks. Listen in to this heated jibe that were exchanged by BJP MP Anurag Thakur and Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav.
इतिहास के पन्ने सब पलट रहे हैं। बीजेपी के सोचिए क्या इतिहास का पन्ना पलट रहे हैं। बीजेपी के लोग किस बात पे बहस कर रहे हैं? उनके बड़े बड़े नेता जिन्होंने संविधान की शपथ ली, वो किस बात की बहस छेड़ना चाहते हैं? औरंगजेब की बहस छेड़ना चाहते हैं। तो अगर रामजी सुमन जी ने भी इतिहास का कोई पन्ना पलट दिया, जिस पन्ने में अगर इस तरह की भाव लिखा होगा, 200 साल पहले 100 साल पहले हम लोगों ने तो इतिहास लिखा नहीं। इतिहास किसने लिखा है? इसलिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी से पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश की हमारी समाजवादी पार्टी की तरफ से निवेदन है कि इतिहास के पन्ने ना पलटें।
दुनिया कहाँ की कहाँ पहुँच गई। ये लोग अभी भी 17वीं शताब्दी में मुगलियाई सोच के साथ ही चल रहे हैं। इनके आइडियल तो राणा सांगा, शिवाजी महाराज, महाराणा प्रताप होने चाहिए थे, लेकिन बाबा और औरंगजेब को याद करने में ये लोग लगे हैं। ये विपक्ष के नेताओं से मैं कहना चाहता हूं, हमारे पूर्वज, हमारे नायक भारत के गौरव हैं। ये इनको अपमानित करने का बार बार प्रयास करते हैं। उनकी छवि को धूमिल करने की इनकी आदत बन गई है। सर, मैं पूछना चाहता हूं, वोट बैंक के लिए स्वाभिमान को कितनी छोड़ दोगे, कितना नीचे गिर जाओगे? मैं कहूंगा, वीर कभी मरते नहीं, वो सदा जिंदा रहते हैं। कभी दिलों में, कभी इतिहास में अमर रहते हैं। साहस इतना था शूरवीर राणा सांगा में, भर भर देश के दुश्मन कांपते थे थर थर। मेवाड़ शिरोमणि को तुम नीचा क्या दिखाओगे? मुगलिया सोच की औलादो, जिनके 80 घाव थे तन पर, व्यथा नहीं थी मन में। आज अगर राणा सांगा जिंदा होते तो तुम जैसे दूर कोने में बैठकर टोपियां सिल रहे होते।
Viewers, Abhaya case is back in focus. The call for justice for Abhaya is gaining momentum. Now today, members of the medical fraternity and the civil society marched to the CBI's office in Kolkata's Salt Lake, pressing for a fresh investigation in the RG Cup rape and murder case. Now, dramatic visuals that you see on your screens right now showed police in full riot gear struggling to hold off hundreds of marchers outside the CBI CGO complex in Kolkata. The protest followed the Supreme Court ruling allowing the parents of Arjikar victim to move the Kolkata High Court seeking a fresh CBI probe in the case. Here's the full story.
A fresh showdown erupted on the streets of Kolkata over the Arjikar rape and murder. This after members of the medical fraternity and civil society came out in their hundreds to push for a fresh CBI probe into the barbaric rape and murder. The protesters marched to the CBI CGO complex in Kolkata's Salt Lake office, pressing the Central Probe Agency to file a supplementary charge sheet in the case. However, the marchers were stopped outside the CBI office by a heavy police contingent, leading to a flashpoint situation. Dramatic visuals showed the police in full riot gear struggling to hold off the surging crowds of marchers outside the CGO complex office. The latest flashpoint in the Arjikar case came just days after the Supreme Court allowed Abhaya's parents to move Kolkata High Court seeking a fresh probe by the CBI into the heinous rape and murder. Earlier, the CBI failed to file the supplementary charge sheet in the Arjikar case within the stipulated 90 days, resulting in former hospital superintendent Sandeep Ghosh and former officer in charge of Tala police station Abhijit Mandal walking out on bail. Ghosh and Mandal were arrested for allegedly erasing evidence in the Arjikar rape and murder case. As fresh protests erupt, will the descent on streets spur the CBI into the uncovering the other accused, abettors and conspirators in the case?
Moving on to what's happening in the state of Karnataka. An oxygen crisis hit Gulbarg area, the Institute of Medical Sciences Hospital in Karnataka, leaving the ICU patients gasping for breath due to a power outage. Now, the incident occurred on Sunday evening when the hospital's power supply failed, and the absence of battery backup led to a critical shortage of oxygen in the ICU ward. The situation was so worse that hospital staff were forced to manually pump oxygen using handheld device to assist the patients, particularly those who were undergoing the past surgery, recovering, and individuals, those were receiving treatment for respiratory and cancer-related ailments. Now, the sudden disruption caused severe distress among the patients and their families, with reports of critical cases worsening due to the lack of oxygen support. On that story, I am being joined by Dr. Sudha Halki. She is a BJP spokesperson. Dr. Sudha, it is extremely concerning, the situation that we see in a hospital in Karnataka. Soon after a power outage, we see that the oxygen pumps were being fed in manually, and this was done at a time when there were patients that were gasping for breath. It is a huge viewer concern. How do you respond to that?
Very good evening. This is a horrific incident which has taken place in GIMS, and this was not accepted but today I have to tell you to the people of the nation that today Karnataka has a health emergency, and this is not first time that the GIMS is in news for all this bad news. Earlier also there was shortage of water for a couple of days, and the surgeries were postponed, and couple of months back also there were 2 deaths because of the shortage of the doctors over there. Today there is a health emergency in Karnataka, and especially in Kalyana Karnataka, I would like to say, because there was a series of maternal deaths. More than 700 maternal deaths have taken place, and 1,500 neonatal deaths taken place over here. And the BJP had formed a fact-finding committee, and through that we had come out with the records that there is a wide shortage of the staff, trained nursing staff, the doctors, and the simple machines like scanning machines are not available over here, and the medicines, more than half of the medicines are not available. They have stopped giving the half of the medicines to the patients in the government hospitals today, and it is in a very pathetic condition. Just imagine what would be the state of the post-operative patients, and especially those patients who are suffering from the respiratory ailments and the cancer patients. And there are patient attendants who are standing over there and viewing that, the patients are gasping for the breath because of the shortage of oxygen. And according to our healthcare, there is standard operating procedures which gives us the outlines how there should be safe and efficient administration of the oxygen. But here we can see that there is a clear-cut lacune over there where there is no battery backup. This is something which is unimaginable, and I would like to say that during COVID, the people of Karnataka were lucky that the Congress government was not in power. That otherwise, just imagine what would be the situation. Because in the present scenario, when we don't have any pandemic or anything, we are facing such a health crisis in Karnataka. What would happen during COVID then? So today, I think, and the health minister really needs to look into the matter. He's from the same hometown, and all such things happening in GIMS is really shameful. There is, for 60 patients, there is one nursing staff, and there is huge lacune in the government vacancies. For example, 17,500 government jobs are vacant in Karnataka, which is not being filled. And this includes the medical fraternity as well. So I think the Siddaramaiah government has completely failed in the health sector. and the people of Karnataka are suffering today with all such minute things like we just cannot imagine that there's no battery backup, and the staff over there. Thanks to the staff over there, at least who are trying to save the patient's life by using those hand pump devices. It's a very pathetic situation today.
Right. Dr. Sudha, my next question to you would be, is this crisis only seen in the GIMS hospital, or are there many other hospitals in Karnataka as well which are facing the same situation?
No, the entire Karnataka is facing the same situation. As I told you, there was a fact-finding committee, and I was one among the members for the fact-finding committee, which was formed by the BJP party over here. And we saw that throughout Karnataka, in all the government hospitals, there is one doctor who used to do 300 deliveries in a month. Just imagine what would be the condition of him, because he didn't have other doctors and there is no trained staffs, and in spite of the repeated request by the doctors, even in Kalburgi, even in Jaideva, they are not ready to fill the vacancies. They are not ready to give the simple scanning machines, and even the central schemes which is given by the central government to take care of the pregnant woman, even that is not put into action. For example, giving the nutritions and doing the scannings, none of it is being implemented. So there's a health emergency which is created in Karnataka under the Siddaramaiah government today.
Right. Absolutely. Dr. Sudha, thank you very much for speaking to Republic. Hopefully, the Siddaramaiah government will look into the case. We move on to the... Right. We move on to the other stories that we're tracking on the broadcast, and this is the last story where Satish Salyan, father of Disha Salyan, the deceased celebrity PR manager, has written to the Senior Inspector of Malwani Police and the Assistant Commissioner of Police Malwani Division. Now this seeking documents that were part of the investigation into the daughter's death. Now Disha Salyan's father, who had approached the Bombay High Court seeking justice for his daughter, requires the documents as a part of this case. In this letter that is dated March 22, Disha Salyan's father stated that the investigation officers and the ACP had completely disregarded the law. He contended that he has not been provided the final investigation report with all the documents and material, photographs, videos, and even panchnamas. Now the CCTV footage, he claims, and the call detailed records, forensic reports and pen drives, post-mortem reports and mobile phones, the laptop that Disha Salyan owned are something that are still seized, that are not, the details of which have not been given out. My colleague Prakash spoke to the former DGP of Bihar. Here's what he had to say.
हर घटना की गंभीरता से जांच की जानी चाहिए, और दिशा साल्यान का मामला तो बहुत ही संवेदनशील है, क्योंकि उस समय भी मीडिया की रिपोर्ट से और भी मतलब जनरल एक परसेप्शन बन गया था कि दिशा साल्यान की ये जो मौत हुई है वो बहुत ही संदिग्ध परिस्थितियों में हुई है, और ये भी एक जनरल पब्लिक परसेप्शन बन गया था मीडिया रिपोर्ट्स के आधार पर कि दिशा साल्यान के मौत से सुशांत सिंह मामले का भी कोई ना कोई कनेक्शन अवश्य है। जो हमारे 4 अधिकारियों को टीम गई तो महाराष्ट्र पुलिस ने बड़ा अनप्रोफेशनल ढंग से उस मामले को हैंडल किया। हमारी टीम के लोगों से कोई अधिकारी बात करने को तैयार नहीं, कोई सहयोग करने को तैयार नहीं, उनको एक तरह से भगा दिया। बेटर लाइजनिंग के लिए मैंने एक IPS ऑफिसर को भेजा, उसको कोरोना के नाम पर हाउस अरेस्ट कर लिया। तो ये सब चीज़ें घटनाएं हुई, इसको मैं नहीं पूरा देश देख रहा था मीडिया के माध्यम से। वहाँ के पुलिस कमिश्नर परमवीर थे। जब पूरे देश को संदेह हो किसी मृत्यु के बारे में, सुशांत सिंह राजपूत का मामला हो या दिशा साल्यान का मामला, उनको एक बार नहीं 10 बार PC करना चाहिए था, मीडिया को लोगों को बुलाना चाहिए था, और देश भर में अखबार में टीवी में जो सवाल उठाए जा रहे थे, जो संदेह व्यक्त किया जा रहा था, उसको तर्क के आधार पर, एकदम मजबूत तर्क के आधार पर खंडन करना था, अपना पक्ष रखना था, मुंबई पुलिस का पक्ष रखना था। मुंबई पुलिस ने कभी भी जिस तरह से मामले में उनका स्टैंड होना चाहिए नहीं रखा, अपना स्टैंड क्लियर नहीं किया, मीडिया को कोई अपनी सफाई नहीं दी, अपना पक्ष नहीं रखा, संदेह और गहरा होता गया। और सुशांत सिंह का मामला बहुत पुराना हो चुका है, 5 साल तक CBI ने अनुसंधान किया। उस समय मीडिया ने तो ये भी आशंका जताई थी ना कि बहुत साक्ष्य नष्ट कर दिए गए होंगे, हम ही को कुछ नहीं मिला, हमने इन्वेस्टिगेशन नहीं किया। हमारे अफसर का कोई कुछ भी इन्वेस्टिगेशन नहीं कर पाए, उनको कहीं कुछ मिला ही नहीं।
5 years down the line, viewers, the crucial question still remains. Where was Aditya Thackeray and who actually is responsible for the murder of Disha Salian? Those are some unanswered questions that Republic will continue to track. It's time for us to simply do a short break, and this marks the end of 6 Stories at 6. Don't go anywhere, because coming up next is Live and Breaking.